and welcome to the Eddie Munson book tag. We're all in love with Eddie. Let's be honest here. We are all in love with Eddie, and Eddie has taken over the internet, but I have not seen a book tag dedicated to Eddie yet, so what I thought I'd do is make my own. So welcome to the Eddie Munson book tag. Question number 1 is Chrissy, wake up, a book you were absolutely obsessed with and it was your first thought whenever you woke up while you were reading it. Show Us Who You Are by Elle McNichol. This is a contemporary own voices book with a sci-fi twist in the sense that we're dealing with AI and things like this, and I love this book so much because it's own voices for the autism rep. I have autism as well, so it was really good to read this and like relate in that way. I do think it's really good for people who want to know more about autism as well, because I think it does that representation really well. I can't speak to the ADHD rep because that is not something I have, but the autism rep by itself was really good. We're dealing with lots of like really complicated questions about like AI and changing people in their AI and like getting rid of their neurodivergence and things like this, if that's okay, and like if we're improving people and things like this. It's also about like acceptance and so many other things. It was absolutely incredible. I still think about this. It is incredible and everyone should read it. Everyone should read it. Question number 2 is Dungeons and Dragons, recommend a fantasy book, and I am going to say A Blade So Black because I haven't mentioned this book in a very long time. But this series by L.L. McKinney is a Alice in Wonderland retelling where we are set in our world in contemporary times, but Alice hunts nightmares, sort of like Buffy does essentially, and I absolutely love this. This is a debut novel and I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. The sequel as well, A Dream So Dark, is really good as well. It's got a third book coming but it isn't out yet, but this is such a good time. It's so much fun, so brilliant. If you love Alice in Wonderland, you will love all of the, obviously, the references in this to Alice in Wonderland. I'm not an Alice in Wonderland fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I still absolutely love this. I think it's brilliant. Just go read it, essentially. Go read it. Question number 3 is This Is Going to Be My Year, a book you think is going to be your favourite of the year so far, or just in general. Raybearer. I loved this book so much. I absolutely adored Raybearer when I read it, and it's this African inspired fantasy world. You've got asexual representation in there, lots of different representation of loads of different races as well. There's loads of like really good world building. The magic system is amazing in this one. The characters are so good. I absolutely loved it. I am obsessed. Question number 5 is Bats, which is a spooky book, so I'm going for Exorcisters. I admittedly read this like 3 years ago and I haven't continued the series yet, but I'm going to be rereading this around the time of Halloween and reading the sequel. But essentially I call this one supernatural but with women and being a lot more fun. Essentially, that's how I'm describing it, that's how I'm going for it. But if you're sort of missing supernatural, or you just want a more female-led supernatural, or anything like that, Exorcisters is definitely the way to go. Question number 6 is Master of Puppets, a book with some truly epic scenes in it. The Death of Mighty Thor. This nearly made me cry, which doesn't happen often, to say the least, but this was incredible. And without giving spoilers, the fight scenes in this, the emotional scenes in this as well are absolutely epic. There's some epic fight scenes in here as well. The artwork is amazing. It's just incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It's got some truly epic scenes in it, and it's one of my favourite comics out of the entire Jason Aaron run. Question number 7 is Dustin, a book where a character becomes an overprotective older sibling type archetype for another character. I'm going to say Arusha here. I wouldn't say it's completely overprotective older siblings here because all the characters in this are basically the same age. I should mention that this is a Percy Jackson-esque storyline, but instead we're following the Mahabharata mythology, and we're also following the reincarnations of the 5 Pandava brothers, and I love this one. I love like the sisterly relationship all the characters have with each other. I love seeing them all interact with each other. There's not particularly like older siblings, to be fair. It's more like they're all basically the same age, like I said, but they're all very, very, very protective of each other, and they are basically ride or die for each other, and I love that. And finally, question number 8 is Eddie, a book you think everyone should love, and I'm going to say Skullduggery Pleasant, because I have to say Skullduggery for this question, or any question like this, essentially. But this is a middle grade fantasy all about Skullduggery Pleasant and Valkyrie Kane as they try to save the world from various different magical threats. It is funny, it is filled with pop culture references, the plot twists will have you doing double takes and then going back to the beginning and going, ah, now I see the foreshadow, but it's so cleverly done that you don't quite notice it the first time round. It's so much fun, it's so brilliant. It's admittedly 15 books long, so it's a bit of a long series, and it may be continuing on after this, and there are spin-offs, but it is so good and I think everyone should love it, and it's criminally underrated on the BookTube scene. And that is the end of the Eddie Munson book tag. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below if you're going to do this tag, and please comment the links down below as well to the tag so I can watch it. I would love to see people's answers to this. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a batch related emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link down below as well to all of my social media, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics if you are interested in that, as well as to my Redbubble and Etsy store, which sells bookish merch if you are interested in that, as well as to anybody I tag, as well as to the questions as well if you want to do this tag, or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. Until next time everyone, bye!